This morning, I rolled out of our bed at my usual time. The bed my wife and I bought many years ago at a small used furniture store. We were told it had belonged to a nice old couple who had moved away years before but couldn't take it with them. I like the old bed, made from iron, and the frame is decorated with large flowers and leaves painted white. I dressed for the day, ate my small breakfast, and went to my study. I sat, as I have through the few years since my wife died, looking through a large window. Looking at my yard, green with grass, and at a couple of trees toward the back, where we hung a swing. We raised our only child in this house. It was a good home. The green grass made me think about my youth and when I served the country's military. The backyard with its green grass held my attention, and I began to think back many years to a place far away, back in time to my war, my time in Vietnam. I no longer see the grass or trees, no longer thought about my cup of coffee waiting for me. I remember it was a rainy day. The rain had started early, long before sunrise. It was monsoon season, and it rained almost continuously during this time of year. My clothes were soaked. The parka I was wearing had a large rip in the back that allowed water to pour in, soaking me down to my boots. We were on patrol. We were looking for Charlie hiding in the tall grass just inside the line of trees. I'm not sure if I was scared or not. This was my first day. I don't guess you get too scared at first. You just try to remember what the sergeant told you before leaving camp. So many things run through your mind. I don't think you have time to be scared. You're too busy listening to what you're told to do. Since my arrival, I often thought about what I see around me and asked, how did I get here in this place called Vietnam? My life at home was not about war. It was about being young and a local job at Kelly's Texaco, where I pumped gas, changed tires, checked your oil, and cleaned the windshield. That was my life. On Saturday nights, it was Mary, my girl. We had known each other since the 5th grade. My life was okay. Then it was turned upside down when a letter came from the draft board. I was trying to focus on our mission, but my mind returned to home. The things made sense to me. Home seeped into my head as I stepped carefully through the grass, searching for what our enemy left behind. Punji sticks to puncture your boots, a thin string to pull a pin, perhaps a sniper hidden in the trees unseen because of the foliage. Charlie lived here. This was his home. It seemed to me that it wasn't that long ago I had said goodbye to my parents, kissed my mom, and hugged my dad. I held Mary's hand for a while as I waited for the bus. Mary and I didn't say much to each other. What can you say? But here, now in my reality, it was a lifetime ago. I knew it would not be the same when I returned home. They taught me how to march, to wear a uniform, how to salute, and to shoot a gun. It was to protect our country from communism, they said, preserve democracy and our way of life. I had never thought our democracy would be under threat from socialism or communism, but the world changes, as it always has, and it leaves me wondering, will it be worth it if in the end we lose it anyway? The doorbell rings. At first I can't place it. It seems to be out of place. It rings again, and I return from what seems like to me was only yesterday when I was on patrol. Again, I'm in my study facing the window. The grass is still green. The trees are still there. It rings 3 more times before I can answer the door. Standing there at my front door holding a letter for me is my mail carrier, Bob. We are both members of the local VFW over on Henderson Street. He has a letter from my health insurance provider, headquartered in Vermont. I already know what the letter has to tell me. Bob and I spoke for a few minutes before he returned to his route. The letter I leave in a desk drawer. I stopped reading them after they started calling me on the phone to tell me what the letter had to tell me. I returned to the study and my lukewarm cup of coffee left sitting on the edge of my desk near the computer screen. I've been trying to recall from memory something that happened over 50 years ago. I have struggled with my fading memory for many years. Perhaps it's old age that I can't recall that day, or maybe I still can't deal with what happened back in Vietnam. I don't know why. Deep inside me, it might be a memory that wants to stay hidden. I was 18 and not ready for war. All I knew about war was from television. That was not real. It was Hollywood. War on television was black and white. Here, it was in color. It was real. No actors laid on the ground pretending to be dead. I remember Hanoi Jane and John Kerry, people who opposed the war. I began to see the tall grass again. The sounds came back to my ears, and I could hear villagers and smell the fires that cooked their food. How strange it seemed that another world continued around us as we hunted for Charlie. Work in the fields went on. Children played outside. Old people looked out their huts, their eyes watching us, watching me. Be careful, I said to myself. Charlie could be hiding close by, watching, waiting for a chance. Again, I returned to my study with pictures of friends hanging on the walls. Friends I made during the war. We all looked so very young back then. Some of them died along the road from old age. Others did not make it home to family and friends. While others came back, but life for them now was not that important anymore. My daydreams, as I call them, come and go. But recently, I seem to have started having more of them. In time, I think they will either stay with me or never come again. I try to write down what I remember from my dreams, a task I'm not sure time will allow me to finish, but I hope so. My wife passed away a few years ago, but my daughter comes a couple times a week to visit. I have a beautiful granddaughter. Her name is Mary, named after my wife. When I look at her, I see my Mary's face and her golden hair and green eyes. A tear forms, which I try to hide. The world I want for her, I'm not sure she will ever have. What was the purpose of all the wars if we fail the future? A question I have asked my wife many times through the years. I get no answers back, but I know she hears me and smiles at me. I hear the sound of the chopper in the distance and know it's coming to extract the wounded and dead. My hand feels cold. I'm on the ground. People are yelling instructions, but I can't move. Medevaced out, buffeted by the wind, and the noise from the engine fills my ears. I don't understand why I'm in the chopper. We were walking close to the trees, then came the rattle of gunfire from all around us. We dropped to the ground. Christ, my arm hurts like hell, and I'm cold. I can see others in the chopper looking at us, at me, the wind flapping their shirt collars. Today, like other days, my daydreams continue. I just want them to mean something to someone, to anyone. Carter gave amnesty to those who ran away to Canada. I didn't like it, but the world goes on. It goes on and leaves behind yesterday's young, what they believed in and who they loved. Tomorrow might be my lucky day, the day my dreams make sense to me. It all comes together. I'd like that. I want to tell Mary I'm coming home to stay.